Yo guys, welcome back to another league racing video on the channel. Today we have PSGL round 7 around Imola, and this is a track that I haven't done much practice for, but I've done enough so where I feel like I'll get a good result today. Here is the standings from last round. We are currently 6, and because of the DNF last round, we have now fallen very far behind of Josh Tomo in first, who has managed to pull a 15-point lead on Venge in P2. So he's looking like a favourite to win this championship. But I think my only realistic goals right now are to get P4, because I'm within like 5 points of P4. So in my first PSGL season, I would not complain if I got P4. But anyway, as we go on to the first qualifying lap, we have a pretty bad second corner. End up hitting too much of the curb, but through the S's nicely and up into the hairpin. We try and get it rotated, but we go deep. So that's definitely a point where I can improve on the second lap. But we did set the purple first sector, so maybe it wasn't all bad, but just definitely time to gain. I was coming into the fast double right here, missed the apex, and then get a squirrel exit. I thought I would have invalidated, but luckily we didn't. But up into the hairpin, you have to get this right on every lap. We don't cut the first right-hander enough, but the second one is okay. Kind of salvaged it, but not really. And up into the final two corners, taking as much curb as possible, trying to get as soon on the power as I can. We get a bit too much of the final turn curb, but just need to keep it tight to the line. That's P2. For a banker lap, we have put it on P2. And as you can hear me say, there's a lot of time in that. So, yeah, I'm not going to complain.
He's 9/10 quick on a banker.
As you can see, Fox Blue has put a banker in that is 9/10 quicker than me, and I think 7 or 6/10 quicker than P2. But as you can see now, we are on the final run of the race or of the qualifying, because I usually go for 3 laps, but as has been a running theme for quite a while now, I end up invalidating or not improving on the second lap. So we're just going to have to gain all the time in the final lap right now. Can't invalidate, we'll be right down the order, and can't be having that. Through the quick left-right, we nailed it, perfect. Now up into the hairpin, this is where all the time is to gain. We get it round really nice, and as you can see, the delta is flying into the green, and we are around 2/10 up now. Now we need to get it and keep it on the track here, which we do. We also gain time. This lap is looking very promising. Into the fast double right, we hit the apex this time and we don't get a bad exit. We are completely flying right now. The time is just, we have so much on the delta, and we nailed the chicane. We cut it both perfectly, and we are 4/10 up running into the final 2 left turns, hugging the right of the curb, getting in nicely, downshifting late on the power, trying to get it round. We do gain time as well. I didn't think it was good enough for anything, but it was P3 in the end. It is 5/10 off of P1, but that doesn't matter. We have managed to keep it on P3,
it's just quicker,
which is very nice for me. I'm not going to be complaining.
5 was half a second off.
But as you can see, I got a 5-place grid penalty, so the race will have to restart. The front 3 is Fox Blue, Rudy, and myself, followed by Italian Slow and Tom Duval, who is a new reserve today. As you can see, there's a bit of rain towards the end of the race. It's heavy rain, so that's something to look out for. As we are going on to the 5 red lights, and away we go for Imola. We try and get a good exit, a good start, I should say. But Italian Snow just gets a better exit on the harder compound tyres. We've decided to go for the mediums, but that hasn't worked out for us so far. We try and keep around the outside, but we're just nudged off. It's not ideal. And we are getting overtaken by Amsterdam, and Neil Sano is putting us under immense pressure, but he decides to back out, which is... I wouldn't have backed out, so that's very smart, and I appreciate that he did that. But we go for a little move here. I back out because I didn't think he was going to end up giving me as much space as he did, or I would have broke a bit later. But from the start, we've dropped down to P6, which isn't ideal, but we should be able, in the next lap or two, to be faster than Italian and Amsterdam ahead. because they've got the harder tyres, and they're a lot slower, at least for the start of the race, or even on this track as a whole, because I don't know, just the mediums seem to last a lot longer from my practice. So as Josh Thomas, you can see, goes wide. Don't think he was yeah, he is gaining, so he gained a little bit of time off that, but I'm not going to think too much of it unless I end up being in a close battle with him. Then maybe I can report him, maybe get a penalty. But as you can see, we're on the back of Amsterdam. He's lagging a little bit without the symbols, but we activate our ERS. We know we need to get past right now because he was squirrely, and I think might have got 1 or 2 warnings on the first lap. But I thought he touched me there and he didn't. As we make the move up into turn 1 and get a good enough exit in turn 2 to keep him behind, we use a bit of ERS just to make sure, and we get the job done. Now we need to keep more of that going forward on Italian, and maybe whoever's ahead, because I know Tom Duval is up ahead on softs, and his tyres are going to fall off pretty soon. So yeah, as you can see now, he's dropped down to P3 on lap 5. We cut ahead a bit because nothing really happened. We just stayed in a nice train. We broke away from Josh behind, and we are now gaining a lot on Italian as he has dropped out of the ERS of the cars ahead. So we're going to be looking for a move up into turn 1, maybe get it done on the main straight, because if he doesn't get DRS here, this is a very easy overtake for us. He gets a slight better exit, but we just activate the ERS and the DRS. He does not get DRS, so we take off the ERS and just fly past on the straight. No fight to be put up there from him, and now we just need to get into the 1 second of Tom ahead, as his softs are really starting to fall off now. But Rudy and Fox Blue ahead, I think, are both on hards, so they should be trying to go long. I'm not sure if they're trying to make it to the rain. I didn't think it was worth it, because I'm not good enough at the game to be able to consistently not lock up on worn hard tyres. But anyway, we go on to lap 6. We are activating the ERS and DRS to get past Tom. He does have DRS this time, so he's going to keep behind us and maybe send out the inside. But we don't think much of it because it would be very stupid for him to do that. And we are now within 1 second of P1 from being in P3, as they are both having fights ahead. They are holding each other up and pushing them back into me. So this is crucial for our race, that we can get past and be in this fight. We get an exit, we get a exit penalty. We get a penalty on the exit of the track. Not ideal, but we activated the ERS and the DRS. We're going to look to get past Rudy along with Fox Blue here, or go with Fox Blue. We send up the inside, lift a little bit, he gives us a bit of contact, and then he just was going to push us wide, so we had to back out. Not sure he was ever going to give me the space there, but yeah, it's not ideal for us anyway. But I'm not going to complain too much about it because I saw it early, and I just avoided it because it wasn't worth keeping my nose in there. As we get a massive snap on exit there, we almost lose the car. Now we need to use a bit of ERS to make sure Tom doesn't get past us again. Big mistake there. Just a lapse in concentration, maybe a sign that the tyres are falling off a little bit and they are getting worse. But I'm not going to be doing too much complaining. I'm just trying to get on with it because we're in a great position here. But as you're going to hear the engineers say, there is rain in 10 minutes. So we're going to have to try. I'm thinking now, I'm going to see if I can extend the mediums, or at least that was a thought in my mind. I don't think I was actually going to be able to do it, but we managed to fall out of the DRS range of Rudy ahead just from the mistake. I haven't fully recovered yet. I'm missing all the apexes. I'm not on pace anymore, which is a shame, but we're going to not use any ERS. We're going to stick to the right hand side, and we're just going to let Tom go through. No point fighting it. But even though he is on the softer tyres, he's just going to hold us up here for the rest of the lap. But we had to let him pass because it would have lost us a lot more time if we were to fight it into turn 1 and 2. On the end of lap 9, Tom still doesn't have any DRS from the cars ahead, so we activate our ERS and DRS. But since he doesn't have any DRS, he just lets us past and try and see if we can catch up to Fox Blue and Rudy, who are both battling up ahead. They are hitting each other, going side by side through 1, 2, and 3. But Fox Blue manages to keep or stay ahead. I can't quite remember who was ahead there. But there's a safety car now on lap 10. This is huge for us. This is a huge turning point in the race, as everyone can just box onto mediums,
Come on, move.
and we need to decide if we're going to do that, and we do, as well as Fox Blue and Rudy do. We almost hit the back of him, but we do end up boxing. As you can see in the top left, or even on the mini-map, everyone is boxing for mediums right now. Or maybe not mediums, but everyone is boxing to some sort of new tyre to make it to the rain. Because that's obviously going to come, because it says it was going to be heavy rain. So, yeah, it's really worked out beautifully for us, because if we didn't box there, we would have lost out so much, and we probably would have like ended up DNFing, or just retiring in the pits, out of some sort of frustration from the fact I've done that, because my strategy calls recently have not been as on point as I would have hoped. But yeah, we start the race, we start again, the restart is on, safety car, Fox Blue jumps Rudy a lot, as we look to activate our ERS and get past as soon as possible, or at least applying pressure, because we end up lifting off and just letting him through. We're just letting him know we're there right now, and hoping that he can get into a rhythm and get up to Fox Blue as we hit the curve massively there. Not too focused yet, but through the left-right, probably one of my favourite corners on the entire F1 game. It's just so smooth. Everything about it is just beautiful. If you get it right, it is so nice. But anyway, I digress. We move on to lap 17 from lap 10 or 11, just purely because nothing happens. We drop Josh Thomas behind, but also Fox Blue goes ahead, or he pulls away massively. He's got like a 2.4 second lead as we overtake Rudy into turn 1. But yeah, it's just he's pulling away a lot, and there's not much we can do about it right now, because we have dropped even further by the end of the lap. Dropped to nearly 3 seconds at this point, which really isn't helping us. But right now I'm just looking to secure a P2 in this race. That'd be massive for me, just to get back into a fight for any position in the championship. As we lift off and let Rudy go through, but I thought he'd at least use a bit of ERS there, because he's not flashing, but he just decided to take the most slow line to get through. So it's not looking likely that we will catch Fox Blue at this rate. But yeah, Rudy lets us through again. Lap 20. Just how it is. We're just going to be doing this for the next few laps. But that's about it. You just need to make sure that we get it through turns 1, 2 and 3 safely, so that when we overtake him, he can't get a chance to get us back. But in lap 20, onto lap 21, we're just going to be doing the same thing again. Fox Blue is 3 seconds up the road, 3.1, but we're just going to move to the right and let Rudy through. But as you can see, it's starting to get a bit darker now on the track. It's starting to get very cloudy, which is just it's just indicating that the rain is coming. Like in the next few laps, maybe 2 or 3 laps, there is going to be rain. But the fact that it got so dark so quickly threw me off going through these corners. I ended up braking a little bit sooner, but he has a massive snap and almost loses the car. So we just have to get through, and we have overtaken Rudy just to capitalise on his mistake, which is crucial from us. We have to be doing that as much as we can in this league. But we're going to stay out another lap, because the rain hasn't quite... It's coming down now, but it's not coming down enough to warrant changing tyres yet. So we're going to stay out and see what we can do. But I think DRS is still open. But I'm thinking of a different strategy right now, as we're going to let Rudy through again. Even though it is raining, we're just going to let him through, because I'm going to end up holding up a lot, which maybe I should have done. But because I'm just going to be taking this lap easily to try and just make it to the pit lane alive, because it is raining pretty heavily now, or at least somewhat heavily. But at the end of this lap, we are definitely going to box, I'll tell you that now. But we're going to do a different strategy to what you might think. It said on the radar at the start that it was going to be full wet conditions in the race. It didn't say it was going to go to inters then wet. It was just going to go straight to wet. So I'm thinking of doing something bold here to maybe have a slight chance at the win here. And I'm going to go for wet tyres instantly. Which, they might work, it might not, because it could...
It's going to go heavy rain.
Because it could just start going really heavy. Or it could stay on inters. I was kind of hoping I would go past Rudy's pit box to see what he was doing. So I could, see what he was doing. And copy him. But he's went for inters and I've went for wets. And as you can see, in the top left, Rudy and Linus in the top, in the So no, in the top left basically.
Unless he changed it back.
There's Josh and Rudy on inters, and then there's me and Damon on full wets. We're going for something bold. Damon didn't have anything to lose, but I did. And as you can see, there's just no grip, and there's not... These tyres were not the right choice. Just simply put, even if it does go to wet conditions in the next, like, 3-4 laps, it still wouldn't be enough. I still would have lost way too much time. Which is... But you can see now, it's very wet, but it still only is inters. And it did...
Bro, we
everyone
actually
in the
came
top
out
left is
so
boxing
much ahead.
inters.
That's crazy.
Everyone's boxing inters. Me and Damon are the only two people to box for full wets. But looking back at it, this wasn't the right decision at all. Because as you can see, we have lost 5 seconds to the cars ahead on inters in that lap alone. And I can't drive in the wet conditions, even if it was full wet. I can only do inters. I'm just not that good at the game, or I haven't done enough full wet for me to be any good at it. So, as you can see, we're braking really early, and Josh is just all over us. Same with Italian Snow. So we just let him go up the insides. We try and hang around the outsides because he goes a bit deep, but it doesn't matter. We're not going to have any grip. These tyres are not going to be worth it. So in the next few laps, I'm going to have to pray that it goes full wets really quickly. But I don't think it's very likely. And even if it did, inters would still be enough to make it. And we end up just going wide, getting a penalty. But it doesn't really matter. We're just kind of letting people through. There's no point holding people up that I wasn't in a race with, in a way. But yeah, it's just not went well for me. As Italian Snow cut the chicane, he's spun out and he breaks his wing. And he spins around. He gets a virtual, and I definitely should have boxed here. I 100% should have boxed for
Even if
inters.
it does go full wets, I might end up binning it myself because I can't do these tyres.
I should have 100% went for intermediates here to just even salvage anything. Maybe even hold on to a P6 or 7, but I didn't do it. I thought I would be able to hold off on these tyres for the full wets, and I would have the right tyres for it and gain a lot. But yeah, as you can see now, it's still nowhere near full wets. We have a massive snap. Neil Sano and Linus are just flying through easily. I might as well be on slick tyres right now, because I'm almost hit the back of Linus there. But there's another virtual, and I should have boxed again. I should have took that as a massive hint to just box.
I'm not gonna box though,
Because
I'm just gonna have
it's so dumb watching it back now. It doesn't matter if I would have lost maybe 3 positions. I would have been able to just overtake them back because I'm actually good on the intermediates. But Linus has a massive snap, goes over the curves. We try and get switch right. We hit him, and we don't get damage. But as you can see, the rear tyres are so much more worn than the fronts. It's actually outrageous. But Linus is really struggling right now. Like, he just... I would have been able to overtake him, I feel, if I boxed for inters. I had 2 opportunities to do it, and I just didn't do it. I was too stubborn to realise that this tyre was not going to work at all for me. Which, in hindsight, it's not good. But I'm trying to let my teammate go here. I'm like, almost breaking the straight.
wets here,
But he just doesn't overtake me for whatever reason. I'm not sure if he was trying to keep DRS, but there is no DRS in the rain. So that confused me a little bit. Because I'm just trying to be a good teammate and let him through, but... Just confusing, as our tyres are really gone now. We have no grip on the rears. We just have to try and let Benj through here. Because yeah, I'm just not... My strategy doesn't... It shouldn't ruin anyone else's race. Like, I shouldn't have to make other people suffer because I chose an awful strategy. But Amsterdam retires here, I think it is. But we almost hit him. Like, his car was just on the track. And we nearly hit him. That throws me off a little bit for the left-right there. But yeah, it's just this tyre wasn't it. And as we just move on to the final lap, we've managed to hold off Delo. But look at the rear tyres. We have got 20% worse rear tyres than the fronts. This was an awful strategy, and even though it is full wets now, it was so late. That was not a good strategy from me. I've really ruined that race there because
so annoying.
I was in a prime position to get a win if I just went onto the inters, because I did inter practice for this race, but no, I went to the wets like an idiot. But yeah, well, this is the race results. Fox Blue gets the P1 on qualifying, P1 in the race, and the fastest lap. He gets some maximum points.
Don't get penalties.
And just a full three-peat for him. But followed by in P2, Rudy, third, Tom Duval. That's Tom Duval's debut in PSGL. He is now a reserve for us. But yeah, Italian snow. No, not Italian. You DNF'd. Julie Shaw, our teammate, gets himself a P6. I'm not sure if that's his first or second points this season. But anyway, we finish off in P9. And yeah, it's just not ideal, but what can you do? Anyway, remember to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And I will see you for another League Racing video pretty soon. Right, see you.